So you told me about the Red Line sessions. Sorry, jam. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah. It was probably one of the most influential things that happened in my later musical life. I mentioned in the video of the Fender Telecaster that I had a small studio in Weybridge on a farm. And originally I rented that because I started painting. I needed space to hang stuff that was drying and to just enough space to work so I didn't have to clear up after myself every day as I was having to do at home. And so it started purely as an art studio. But one night I was in the pub. It sounds on these videos like I'm always in the pub. And I was a lot of the time. But I met this guy called Ep17, and he was a front of house sound man for good bands. He started with the Police, and he was doing Morrissey, and he'd just come back off doing the Moody Blues Japanese tour. And at the end of the tour, they wanted to give him a bit of a present, a thank you present. So they gave him the drum kit that was on the tour.
Yeah.
Because he played a bit of drums in his early life. And since he'd been back, his girlfriend had been giving him a load of shit about where those drums going in this house, the house not big enough and you can't leave them here and people are falling over them.
Yeah, usual drummer problems.
Yeah. So he said to me, I hear you've got a studio now. And I said, yeah, I'm painting in it. And he said, I need somewhere I can put my drums. I'll give you the drum set. I'll give you the drum kit. If anytime I want to, I can come and play it at your studio. So I said, oh, okay. So he says, a nice kit. It was a Tama kit. So he brought the kit over and we set it up and he played for about 10 minutes. And after that, I never saw him again at the studio. I saw him in the pub, but he never came and played the drums again. So once I had this drum kit there, I thought, well, if I put a small PA in here, I could rent the space out for some band rehearsals and recoup a bit of the money I'm paying in the rent.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Jim, who's now living in California, he went on to do front of house for Aerosmith, and at the time he was doing Wet 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 in England too, and he does Maroon 5, and he does Justin Bieber front of sound. So old Jim's doing all right for himself.
Right. Yeah.
And good luck to him, a lovely guy. And I haven't got your kit anymore, Jim, if you're watching this. I gave it to my nephew who wanted to learn, and he played it for nearly 20 years, and he's given it to a kid that lives down his road who wanted to learn and couldn't afford a kit. So it's gone on and on and on to help lots of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the bands that came to rehearse there was a band called the Red Hot Chili Willies. It was a piss take of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but was run by a harmonica player called Pete Welland. And Pete Welland and I knew each other for quite a while, just from being around the scene together. But he asked me I said I had space now to rent out for rehearsal studio, and he was rehearsing this band. And in this band I met Rob Ayers, a drummer from Ashford, where my parents used to lived. Well, my parents lived for 50 years. And he was a great jazz drummer, but loved to swing.
Mm.
And Pete was putting together this swing band, the Red Hot Chili Willies. And they had a piano player called Rusty, who was from Molesey. And Rusty was a really great rock and roll and honky tonk and swing blues piano player. But he had a bit of problem with, and a bit of problem turning up when he should have done.
Yeah.
So, well, he didn't last too long, but they had some great rehearsals with him. And he was always laughing. Great guy. The guitar player was a guy called Keith Tice. Keith used to work, when I first met Keith, he was working in ABC Music, where I bought my Jazz Master. And when ABC Music finished, he took a small shop in the same town, Addleston, and it was in that shop that I got the painted guitar that Jason painted. So it all sort of interweaving. This time of my life was very, very busy with lots of different things happening, lots of things starting, lots of things being created. A bit like the 60s music scene or the early 70s music scene, really. Mm. Anyway, I can't remember who the bass player was. Later on it was Jeff Walker, who was also a Red Lion guy, played at the Red Lion. Anyway, Pete Welland was running on a Sunday, every Sunday, this jam at a pub called the Red Lion in Twickenham. And because I was seeing a lot of him, we had a few drinks one night, and he said, "Why don't you come to the jam and have a play?"
Yeah.
And I hadn't played at a jam since I was about 16, but I went one Sunday afternoon, and it was a different type of pub. It felt different when you walked in. It was one big room. You walked in on the corner of the pub, and the bar was in front of you, but the bar went round like that, and the room was L-shaped, and the stage was in the door to the left. There'll be some pictures of it. And it used to get packed. The jam ran from 4, so everyone could go for a lunchtime drink, go home, eat their lunch, and then go out and go to the jam, which lasted 4 till 7. Small stage, a bit cramped, but it was good enough, you know. A lot of jams suffer from too big a stage, being able to get too many musicians on the stage, and everything becomes a total mess. But this was a nice small space, and that's how I got invited to go to the Red Lion Jam.